Awesome.
All
We were
right.
ready to get started here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it looks like we just got the Zoom room opened up as well, Helaine. So yeah, really excited to be here again. Welcoming everybody, whether you're watching at home on Zoom, tuning in on TikTok. Really excited to have you here for today's edition of Trade of the Day Live this Tuesday here. Almost at the end of October, hard to
Yes.
believe. I got
Yes.
Halloween coming up later this week, but
Yep.
before all that, before all the fun trick or treating and all that good stuff, lots happening in the market today, Helaine. A lot happening tomorrow.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, regarding market days, we always are looking for what the catalyst is in the markets, what's going to be moving stock prices, what's causing, price action to, swing. Tomorrow is about as big of a day for markets as you will see. Obviously, we're right in
Oh
the heart
yeah.
of earnings season. We have we have several mega caps reporting earnings. I think it's almost a third of the S&P 500 actually reports earnings just this week, but tomorrow's
Crazy.
really the first just major day. We have Microsoft, we have Google, we have Meta just tomorrow. And if that wasn't enough, we also have a Fed meeting too, where they're expected to also cut rates and, of course, discuss current policy and their thinking. So just tons going on for the market.
I can feel the volatility. The market wants to be volatile, and I'm bracing myself as we're entering this week. Well, I mean, we're already in this week, but as we get into the thick of it. But Blaine, did you want to go ahead and jump in? We're going to do a quick market overview before we jump into our top picks for today.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's go ahead and just take a look, just a brief overview of the market. We always like to touch on this real quick, just from the index level. And of course, Helene, the chart looks a little bit different compared to the last time we were here live. Last
Yeah.
time we were here last Thursday, we were talking about, the S&P 500 is pushing up right up against this level of resistance. It looks like it's ready to challenge it once again.
Oh
And then,
yeah.
of course, the very next day on Friday, just this past Friday, we did get that bump higher. We traded
Huge.
up, traded above intraday, above 6,800 on the S&P 500 for the first time ever. That was a massive leg higher. We finally pushed through that resistance, closed above this resistance level on the charts right here around
Hmm.
6750 that had been proving for almost a month to be a pretty significant level of resistance. Buyers weren't pushing the index up above there, but on Friday we finally got that. And man, have we got some follow through? We actually we were within just about three S&P points away from trading above 6,900
That's
in today's
insane.
trading. It's almost been a vertical takeoff just in the last several trading sessions, which may or may not be the best thing to see, but it may have to have a little bit of a cooling off. But certainly great to see this, the indexes and stocks broadly rallying, seeing this really bullish behavior. It's always great to see a lot of green on the charts.
Absolutely. And technically speaking, the stock is current, or not the stock, the index is currently overbought. That's according
Hmm.
to the Keltner channels. That does not mean that we're going to see an immediate pullback, but it does mean that it is overheated. It's due for a pullback, at least in the short term. It's not a bearish sign. It just means that things are overheated.
Yeah, should
Um,
just be aware of it and just, be anticipating that you're due for a pullback, technically speaking.
exactly, exactly. So, totally agree. Red hot week. Really, some potential volatility that we're going to see because of all those earnings, as you said. Huge week ahead. So, interested to see where things continue on during the week.
Exactly right. But yeah, no, it's been a great move in stock prices. Of course, we've seen really broad participation too, Helene,
Hmm.
across the board. This is just looking to S&P 500 equally weighted index. So this is a bit of a different, take to look at right here. Really good perspective to have. But we also see this closed at a new all-time high just yesterday, the equal weighted version. So that, what that's telling me is that just signifies that we are having that broad participation. While, of course, a lot of the mega cap tech names you're very familiar with, they have been the leaders in this recent leg higher,
Yes.
like they have been for several years now, it seems. But despite that, we are having a lot of different stocks working. I think it's somewhere around 65, 67% of the S&P 500 stocks are above their 200-day moving average, so confirming that long-term uptrend. You're seeing this index close at a new all-time high just yesterday. Really encouraging signs. And Helene, I think the market really is anticipating, despite a lot of big events this week, the market is baked in, fully anticipating getting a rate cut and likely several consecutive rate cuts to follow that. I think the market's anticipating that mega cap tech earnings are going to be very good. So, if those market expectations do play out, I know we're obviously starting to price some of that in with the move, the past couple days, but I think that's putting a nice runway in front of stocks through the end of the year.
Totally agree. I have to say I'm bullish definitely on the end of the year. And I want to note as well that we are running into Halloween. And what we see on Halloween is called the Halloween effect. It is the beginning of a typically very bullish, very strong bullish time in the year. So if that were to play out and reign true, still we would be on a favorable period within the market starting on Halloween.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of that stems, Helene, too, just from, having the indexes, just talking about their index performance year to date, the S&P, the NASDAQ that are up, around 20% or so on the year. You've had a lot of professional investors, fund managers that have, kind of maintained being fairly bearish throughout the year for a number of different reasons. Can't say that they didn't have, legitimate reasons for being bearish, certainly. But nonetheless, you see what stock prices have done. And typically, when you get that set up into the end of the year, you are setting up for a chase for performance, through the end of the year. Plus, just earnings have continued to be good. Rates are getting cut right now, so there's a lot of different tailwinds for stocks. So certainly a lot of reasons to be bullish for the next couple months. But with that, Helene, I know the folks always like to tune in to see which trade ideas we're looking at, what we spotted. So maybe now is a good time to go ahead and jump into that.
And right before you do, for those of you that are in the room right now, if there's a stock that you want us to take a look at and analyze, we are technical analysts. Let us know what stock you want us to take a look at. Go ahead and comment. Let us know in the comments what you want us to see, and we will be looking at those trades. Or if you have any questions, go ahead, put them in the chat, put them in the comments. We want to make sure to get your questions answered. Go ahead and do that now. But Blaine and I are about to jump into our top trade picks today. Blaine, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So, going to go ahead and hop right into my trade idea for today. And so, this is going to be for Credo Technologies, ticker is CRDO. They obviously have been a massive winner this year on the back of the AI build out, AI revolution. They are one of the key cogs in the system. Their main business is actually making several cables that are, required in much of the data center build out. They have some of the highest tech cables for communicating between servers, linking them together, getting all those NVIDIA GPUs, right? Get them all to talk to one another, to build those AI networks, to where you can actually scale this computing power. But anyways, that's what their business does. Obviously, massive, massive demand for their products and what they're able to do. Some of the software they have built around their products. And so you can see it's showing up in the price performance for this stock here. This is only looking at the past 6 months, but it's been on a very powerful rally throughout the entire year. Obviously, you can see over just the past 6 months, looking from May through September, the stock, really was just taking a massive leg higher, just higher highs, higher lows, new all-time highs one after the other, and had this really kind of blow off top in the short term right here in September. It really rallied higher, traded above the upper Keltner channel for the majority of the first half of September before ultimately cooling. You can see it finally traded back down to the middle Keltner channel right here, really in the last trading week of September, and the stocks
Mhm.
consolidated, kind of traded sideways since then, all the way through the month of October, but has not broken down technically. It was, just after the massive run it had, it was certainly due for some cooling off, consolidation, and kind of building a base. And so you can see it traded back down to roughly this 140, 145 range, and just kind of got stuck in that range for about 3 weeks, just traded sideways, maintained the trend line buy signal that we had with our
Yep.
21-day red line right here, remaining above our 63-day EMA right here. So it maintained the trend line buy signal just while it was consolidating. And now, if you look at the price action and really just the past week, this stock has started to reaccelerate, taking another leg higher. It's also being confirmed down here in our lower chart. This is a MACD or MACD chart. This is a nice one that I always like to use. So Helaine and I, we both like to look at these as a confirmation indicator. So, what we're seeing up top, we like to confirm that with something like the MACD on a trend breakout. And so you can see that our MACD has just recently broken out, showing a fresh up leg and fresh reacceleration of momentum in the stock. So our MACD is trading above the trigger line right there, which is the 9-day EMA. So
Mhm.
lots to like here from the technical picture. It looks like this stock is reaccelerating, setting up for its next leg higher, through the end of the year. So I was really
Sounds
excited
good.
to see this setup here for Credo. And the way I was looking to trade this one, Helene, they actually don't have earnings until December 1st. So I was actually able to find a setup with this one using an in-the-money call debit spread. They still have a lot of time value baked into their options. But
Hmm.
again, they're not reporting earnings until December 1st. So using this November 21st option expiration, I'm actually able to, still play around earnings and have this trade, be on the front end of earnings, so not really having too much earnings risk from this company specific perspective. And I was looking to buy to open the 130 strike call and sell to open the 135 strike call. So again, this, smaller, it's a 5 point spread, but you can see it's coming in right now at the current midpoint price for the spread at 3.55. I may have to enter my order just a little bit higher than that to get this one filled because it is a bit wider bid ask. But I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can just get it filled at maybe 390 or so. Because again, this is a 4 or 5 point debit spread. As long as I can get it filled at 4 points or less, then that's still well within my criteria of where I'm looking to get a call option debit spread filled, maintaining that 25% or higher profit potential. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get this one filled at 3.9. The price of the spread has been kind of bouncing all over. And look, I just got it filled just right there at 3.9 points. So even with a little bit wider bid ask spread on that one, still was able to get the order filled. And again, you can see here are the strikes. If you're tuning in on Zoom, you can see my screen. Here's the 130, here's the 135. Obviously have some, pretty significant technical support at that 135 level. Seeing where the stock, recently consolidated, stayed in that range. The 135 was kind of the floor there. So that's how I landed on those strikes.
And for those of you that are on TikTok and have a harder time seeing the screen, Blane was just saying that he was reviewing a bullish setup for Credo Technology, CRDO. And once again, Blane, the strikes, what strikes were you looking at for your call option debit spread?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was the 130 and 135
For
were the
November
ones
21st.
for
So the
November
ones
21st. Exactly right. Yep. So I'll go in here and pull up the actual trade so you can see here it is. Here's the 130, 135 strikes for
awesome.
November 21st right there.
Perfect.
And
And for those of you that are commenting those stocks that you want us to take a look at, like you, Hales, and Charlie, and some other people, we are going, and Jolie, we're going to get to your stocks at the end of this. Once I go over my top pick, then we're going to jump in, analyze your picks, and take a look at them. For those of you that are on Zoom, same thing. Go ahead. Put in the comments, put in the chat what you want us to take a look at. We're going to start answering your questions live here in just a couple of minutes.
yep,
But
absolutely.
Blaine,
Yeah,
I
Helene, I know
love,
you have a trade too. Let's go ahead and see what you have for today.
yeah, I was going to say, I love that pick. It's one that we had traded on the way up. I mean, Credo Technology had been on a killer run, as you said, and we have been trading it, I think, at least for a couple of months now.
Hmm.
The net consolidation, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty concerning, but it's on par with a lot of these big momentum names. They saw the same sort of consolidation pattern. I'm thinking Palantir, I'm thinking Nvidia,
Yep.
and now they're starting to break back out again, and hopefully we'll see this continue at least through the end of the year, right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly right. That's what the technicals, at least on the chart, are showing me. So you'll certainly see how things play out. But after breaking out of the recent consolidation and, look like it's, ready to challenge those recent highs, back from mid-September, really liking what I'm seeing from that chart there.
So my pick, as you said, I have a pick as well. My pick is for Avgo, so Broadcom, AVGO. One second here, guys, as I get mine set up for you all. Here we are looking at the daily chart. We can see that this stock is on a confirmed buy signal, trading above a number of key moving averages: the 35-day EMA, the 50-day moving average, the 200-day moving average. I like my stock to be trading above all three of these moving averages in order to confirm the trend. And that is exactly what we're seeing here. We also are just seeing a very strong trend within the price movement of Avgo. That means higher highs and higher lows, new 52-week highs. That type of movement is what we're seeing within this chart, within the daily price action. Now, currently, we saw a real big pop higher in September. The stock became overbought before pulling back, consolidating for about a month. And now, after today, it has broken above the upper end of that consolidation range. So typically, when a stock is consolidating, It either breaks out and often tends to trade higher from there, or it breaks down and trades lower from there. And what we're seeing with Avgo is that it broke out, and so that is a bullish sign to me that it could be setting up to potentially trade higher from here. And so the way I'm looking to trade this is I'm looking to do the November 28th 325, 330 strike call option debit spread. It's currently trading, it just popped a little bit higher, but it's trading around four. I want to be in at four or lower because that gives me about a 25% profit potential on the position. That really is the minimum that we're looking for when we're picking a call option debit spread. We realistically want to have about a 25% return profit potential on our call option debit spread. Now, this trade would allow me to profit if the stock is flat, up, or even slightly down at option expiration. As we can see, the break even for this one is 329. So that is between the middle and the lower Keltner channel. So it gives me downside protection, as I said, in case the stock were to reverse course and become a little bit bearish from here. I could still make money off of this position.
Yeah, that's a great looking setup there, Helaine. It's funny you mentioned, AVGO, we were talking about just before we hopped on. That was one that I was eyeing actually just this morning. We both spotted it before we had gotten together and talked about our trade picks.
Mhm.
I thought that setup looked great. And funny enough, if you kind of think about what the chart for Credo looked like too, a very similar setup, rallied, hit several new, really kind of blew the top off and, middle of September and then consolidated, traded sideways for about a month and is now reaccelerating. Very similar price pattern to what we were seeing in the chart for Credo right there. So, some of these really big AI names, AI winners, it seems like a lot of those are starting to reaccelerate here in the, setting up for the final 2 months of the year. So love the trade there for Broadcom.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks. Well, now that we have made it through our market overview and also through our picks, Blaine, should we open it up and start going back and forth with people
Yeah,
commenting
absolutely.
and
I
their
know. Yeah,
trades?
whether you're watching on Zoom and want to, post a comment about, whether it's a stock or ETF you want us to take a look at and do some technical analysis on. I
Yeah.
know there's a ton of people commenting on TikTok, different
Yeah.
tickers on there, so we'll probably go ahead and start fielding some of those.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's go ahead and jump in. Let me go back because you guys have been commenting quite a bit and I want to make
got
sure.
them loaded up here on the comments. I see one. I see Greg just commented circle, so I'll go ahead and take Greg's
Yeah, go
from
ahead.
Zoom real quick. So here we go, Greg. So Circle, obviously, this is one of the hot IPOs of the year. They had a big, a big performance following their IPO earlier this year. For anybody that got in at the IPO price, it's certainly cooled off substantially, since then. It's really kind of been trading sideways. So, just looking at what I'm seeing here, I certainly think their business model is interesting. With the stable coins being involved in crypto, so certainly an interesting business. But just from a technical perspective here, I'm not seeing anything breaking out to where I would personally be looking for a long setup. Maybe something, Helaine, this one right here would honestly might be a really interesting setup with this one since it's been kind of range bound. I would probably look to actually use our call butterfly spread strategy on this one because it's been so range bound. There's still ways to trade things that are trading sideways.
Yeah.
And what do you think about that for this setup right here?
Okay, for Circle, honestly, I think I'd avoid it right now, even as a butterfly spread, only because it IPO'd what in June? It's less than a year out, less
Yeah.
than 6 months even. And we see heightened volatility in stocks within especially their first year of trading after
Yeah, that's a very
IPO.
good point.
So the range is a little wide for a butterfly spread that I like to trade since mine are fairly tight. But I personally it's consolidating. I would have to see if it's going to break out or break down. It could go either way. I have no strong feeling on it right now.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, no. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it too. If I had to find a
Okay.
trade, that's probably what I'd do. But I think I kind of lean with you too, Helene, that there's probably other things out there that I would like to trade more so than Circle. But
Okay,
again, just
Blaine.
personal opinion. But what's our next one here, Helene?
Next up, GLDM. Let's go ahead and let's
GLDM.
fire
Let's
through
see here.
these and make sure we're getting to everyone's nice and quick. Let's see.
Absolutely. Oh, here
GLDM,
we go.
Gold
So this
Miners
looks like,
Trust.
yeah,
Oof.
So
Ouch.
obviously gold has been kind of taking it on the chin lately.
Yep.
Certainly had a massive ramp up. This looks like a mini version of gold, so maybe like a mini gold ETF. Um,
From the technical standpoint, I'm staying away. That is falling through
Same.
the floor. I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, that's kind of looks like the textbook picture of a falling knife. So definitely,
Yeah,
nothing. It hasn't looked like it's found any support technically speaking. So certainly something that I would be avoiding. From a long perspective, I would certainly be kind of standing on the sidelines waiting for that one to slow the decline a little bit first.
definitely. Now, guys, if you're on live, go ahead, comment a stock that you want us to analyze. We're jumping into the comments right now. We're taking a look at your picks. Hales, you're up next. Now, you picked four different trades. We're gonna look at two real quick. First one is
Okay.
SMR, Blane, New Scale
SMR,
Power
yeah, we
for.
know this one fairly well. New Scale. So this is obviously one of the players in the nuclear space. This thing has just, if you looked up volatile stocks in the dictionary, this would be right there. Obviously, it's been trading all over the place.
Yep,
But frankly, Helene, if you look back to the current price level right now, and then look all the way back to mid-June, it's only about $1 difference. It's traded all over the place. It's traded up, made new all-time highs on several different occasions, sold off. It looks pretty clear that right now there's a pretty clear technical floor of support below this stock. Somewhere around 33, $32 per share.
hmm
Certainly pretty well elevated off of that right now. But again, just price speaking, if you bought in back around mid-June, this stock hasn't done anything. It's still roughly at
yep.
the exact same price. So. This one looks like it's kind of stuck. It's made a huge run, obviously, through the earlier part of this year, Helene, but looks like it, is running into some resistance right now.
I'd say I wouldn't touch it. There's no clear trend. We're trend traders. We follow the trend. We're not trying to make a trend. So I
Right.
personally would not be trading SMR at this point. I would want to see a
Same here.
confirmed bullish trend or bearish trend in order to jump into that trade.
Exactly.
Next up is IonQ. This is a quantum stock. Of course, this has been one of the big names in the quantum sector. Quantum has been red hot this year because it's had explosive runs. And recently, over the past couple of weeks, it's really pulled back along with all the big names in quantum. So IonQ, of course, pulled back along with those other ones, Hales. Right now, it fell through the floor, became oversold, hit the lower Kellner channel. It's trading up off of there, but it just bounced off of the middle channel, as in bounced down, and that is a bearish sign.
Yep.
I would not be looking to enter into a bullish position for it on Q personally.
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, it's seeing it break through this level right here would have been kind of a red flag for me because that was the recent higher low. And so in this fall right here, when it finally broke through this level and made a new lower low right here, that's signaling to me a trend change. Obviously, certainly it's bounced since then, but as you said, it's now falling after trading up and hitting the middle Keltner channel almost to a
Yeah.
T. It failed in yesterday's trading, traded up, and then finished near the lows of the day. So it looks like there's some pretty heavy selling pressure in this one right now. Obviously, the technicals don't look great. So yeah, again, not one that I would personally be looking to trade right here either.
So next up, Lucid Escape. He said, "Hey, Helaine and Blane, recently started getting back into trading. Looking forward to watching. Awesome. We're happy to have you in here, Lucid." Jolie said, you for a stock to look
That's a
at.
uranium play, correct? That's one of the like kind of really high beta speculative uranium
I
companies. Uh,
believe so. Energy Fuels Inc.
yeah,
Once again, I'm not familiar with this company, but just based off of the technical movement right now, it was had a huge run into the year, red hot. In October, became way overheated. It's been pulling back since this overheated period. Earlier in October, trading down. It looks like it's trying to find some footing, but there's no real proof yet. I would want to see some trading, higher highs, higher lows from here before entering a bullish position for this stock.
agreed. Yeah, totally agreed, Helene. And this one right here, I think this is, certainly one of the more speculative. This company's not profitable. I know that. Um, uh, don't know that much more about the fundamentals about the company, but I do know it's, doesn't have a profit quite yet. And in the nuclear fuel space, that I'll go ahead and raise you one to show you a different chart. This would actually be our kind of preferred stock. barring today's move, even if you're looking at yesterday's chart, Cameco, they're in a similar business, but they've been around for a long time, have an established business. They're into
CCJ.
uranium mining. Of course, you can see the stock is up 23% today. So maybe not looking to enter a position right here is not what we'd be looking to do because it's certainly overbought. But in that space, Cameco, CCJ,
Mhm.
Helaine, I think I can safely say that's you and I's personal
Yeah.
favorite preferred pick in the uranium mining nuclear fuel space.
Definitely like that one. Next up, RCK subs. And guys, we are trying to go through these quickly so that we can hit all of your trades. PayPal is next from RCK subs. PayPal, have any chance of holding up? That's the question that we have.
Wow, big move from
Blane.
PayPal today. I mean that I don't.
Huh.
They must have had earnings today, I think,
They must
Helaine.
have.
Yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what their earnings report said. Clearly, it looks like the street likes it with the stock up
Yeah,
9%. It's traded in a huge range today. Certainly up. Is getting near. It looks like it's 52-week high intraday today. So certainly some encouraging trading, but it's hard to say. Technically
yeah.
speaking, the trend's all over the place. There really
There's
isn't a trend.
no trend.
So.
I'd
Uh,
stay away.
yeah, it looks like a big pop after earnings. So, for anybody out there that's, long and been holding,
Yep.
congrats. Looks like a good day for the portfolio in that position. But,
Exactly.
yeah, from a trend speaking, there really isn't any trend. It's been sideways, choppy, up,
Yep.
down. It's kind of hard to decipher anything out of this one here.
Next up, user 906 coin. Let's go
Ooh,
Coinbase.
Coinbase. Let's see here.
Once
So, yeah,
again, no trend. I would personally stay away. It looks like they definitely have made a nice hard bottom around 300. If I saw a breakout above the recent October highs, I would consider it potentially, but it would have to be making a series of higher highs and higher lows, more of a consistent trend. Right now, it's just all over the place.
totally agree. Yeah, it's got crazy, a really strong level of support below
Yeah,
this one around that range of, about 305. So between 300 and 310 there. It's traded down and bounced off that level about five different times, almost I can count right here. So I totally agree. If you see some break out of that range above that 390 level to the upside, that would be where I'd start looking to put a position on.
totally.
That's where I would look to trade it from the long side. So yeah, totally same page with you there, Helene.
Next up, Blane, DS Gill 84. Okay, WDC. Now, this is a stock that I really like
All right.
and that we've had our eyes on quite some time. I don't know if we've actually pulled the trigger on a trade for this one, but it's definitely one that has been absolutely killing it this year, outperforming, huge overheated run through a lot of September, pulled back, but it did not consolidate. It just kept trading higher. Now its trading's been more volatile, but it has been trading higher. It's down today and down yesterday, which is counter trend with the market, which I don't love per se,
Yeah.
but the trend is still strong. It has not broken down. It still looks overall bullish to me, but I would watch to see a bounce. I want to see a bounce from here. What do you think, Blaine?
Yeah, I think this one's just kind of consolidating right now. If you look back to when it took that really massive leg higher on October 1st, it looks like
Hmm.
traded up to those new all-time highs. It was above the upper Keltner channel for almost a month and a half.
Yeah,
Looking back to September and early October before cooling off. Ever since then, it's really kind of traded sideways. It has made this series of higher lows, so I do like to see that while stock is consolidating. That tells me that when it eventually does break out, it's likely to break out to the upside. But right now, it looks, if you just look right now, price level compared to where it was at the beginning of the month, it pretty much is going nowhere. It's right in the
yeah,
same range, actually even slightly down on the month right now. So you can see the MACD is pretty negative on this one. So it's consolidating, really kind of hasn't gone anywhere. So it looks like, might be having a bit of a base built in the stock as it's trading sideways. So would like to see this one start to break out a little bit further. If I were, again, this is just speaking personally
yep.
from, trying to buy
From
an
a
option.
technical analyst standpoint, WDC, we want to see more confirmation of the trend.
Yep, for sure. Yep.
Next up, Blane, PMI. This is not a stock that I'm familiar with, but wow,
Yeah,
that's an
I'm not
interesting looking
familiar.
chart. If
Oh
you guys
boy.
don't see it, go ahead and look up that chart right now at home. Interesting pick, huge run after the IPO, and then it just absolutely fell through the floor. I mean, what, the high was over 13, and then it's
Yeah, now it's
it's
actually
at
below the IPO price.
it's below four. It's below four. I, once again, we're trend followers. There's no trend. There's no trend. I wouldn't touch
Yeah,
it.
there,
Too volatile.
it's only been public for about 2 months. As of last week, there was a pretty strong trend, albeit it was very, very overbought. Um, that would have been one thing to analyze. But then again, the movement of the last 3 days, Friday looks like the stock really imploded. It fell by about 60 or 70%.
Gosh,
Um,
ouch.
and then, down about almost 17% again today. So definitely not a stock that I'd be looking to trade. It looks like this thing,
No, no,
I'm
for
not
sure.
sure. I'm not familiar with it, so I'm not sure why it had that reaction. But
Me neither.
yeah, this is one technically speaking I'd be staying far, far away from.
Okay, next up, this is an interesting one. Three a boss at Kava. So CAVA.
Oh,
This
I
is
could go
one
for a
that
kava bowl for lunch.
same. I
Maybe
love
not the stock
Kava.
chart though.
I have been bullish on the company of Kava for a long time. When they IPO'd, I was like, I want in. I love Kava. This is going to have to be a killer stock. And wow, I'm looking at a chart for Kava, last 10 months, it looks terrible. I mean, it is bearish. I will say over the last month or so, it's been basically flat. It
Yep.
might be trying to find a bottom. That that's the real hope right now. But at the time being, there's no trend. Now, this could be a good butterfly spread, Blaine. This one
Could be a good butterfly
definitely.
spread, but also, certainly as you noted, pretty bearish trend in the stock.
Yeah,
It's taken several big
bearish.
legs lower, trading sideways right now. It does have earnings coming up in about a week and a half, so
Okay,
something to be
interesting.
mindful of there. Probably going to see a little elevated volatility around that. But other than the butterfly spread idea, given the longer term downtrend, this kind of this whole space has been in a downtrend. You pull up a chart of,
Yes.
Starbucks. Chipotle, they all kind of look
Chipotle
very
has
similar.
been, yeah,
Yeah,
similar.
the whole space has had a lot of struggles this year.
Yeah.
So given that, the technical chart here too is, showing a very clear trend line sell here. This would be one I would actually see if I could find a put debit spread on.
Okay. Yeah, interesting play. I like it. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Next up, Marco's Outdoors is asking about QNC, but it looks like that
QNC.
doesn't turn in. I don't, QNC is not a stock symbol that's pulling up for me.
Here we go. Is it Quantum Emotion here? This one?
Oh, QNC.V. Is that the one that you did, Blaine?
Yeah, yeah. This I think must be something that's
UN,
traded overseas here. Um,
QNC.V.
Yeah, so this must
Oh,
be some type of quantum play. It does look like a very small
interesting.
cap, penny stock type of company.
Yep.
One I'm not familiar with.
Yep.
Certainly, it's been on a big breakout, but again,
Technically
you know,
speaking.
yeah,
Yeah.
as we know, with penny stock type of stocks, they have a reputation for a reason. They're really small market cap, small float. They can be manipulated very easily. Certainly looks like there's been a huge spike in volume, in the past month with this one as we've had this big ramp up. So probably explaining that big move there. Just kind of 10,000 foot level speaking here, Helaine. Obviously, technically speaking, there is a good technical trend line by here, but we
Hmm.
typically are staying in the more large cap, mid
Yep.
cap, sometimes small cap space, but we're generally looking at a few $1 billion market cap or bigger. This one is, still in the millions here. So
Also, just in
this
terms of
is
stock price, I'm typically trading stocks that are at least like $15 or higher. And that's just my personal preference. I have nothing against people that are trading penny
same.
stocks or low cost stocks. It's just typically I'm trading stocks that are above $20. I would say that's
Exactly. And again,
typical.
that just gets back to, what we do, Helene. We're technical analysts, we're trend
Yes.
followers,
Yep.
and you need to have some kind of, expected level of volatility in a stock. For something like this, obviously, of course, there's been a massive breakout. It's more than doubled in a month. So,
Yep.
certainly a good move for anybody that's been long here. But,
Totally.
when you have that type of move, you could have the equal and opposite reaction very easily in a type of stock like this. So,
Yes.
that's why
Exactly.
typically with our technical strategies, we found over time they typically work better on, the, large caps, the mid caps, things that are more stable, have stable volumes.
Yep.
Uh, so
So next up, Lucid Escape asks, what platform do you guys prefer for analyzing? Our default is typically going to be stockcharts.com. We started trading like probably I started over almost 10 years ago now, I guess.
Hmm.
And who I learned from, he was using stockcharts.com, and that's what I learned. That's what I'm comfortable with. That doesn't mean that I'm not using other things. I do reference, I have Robinhood, I have E-Trade, I have Thinkorswim, I use it at a number of different things, but stock charts is both of our defaults, I know.
Yep, for sure.
Esteban Dido, 69, asked about stock symbol BURU. BU,
BRU.
BURU. Okay, it's a stock that I am not familiar with. The
Yeah.
company name is Nubaru Inc. And I'm just looking at it, it's 37 cents right now. That stock,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
trend, technically speaking, but also it's just one that I'm not typically going to be trading. But just from a technical standpoint, no trend, I would stay away.
Yep.
Okay, Lucid Escape, one to keep an eye on and watch for more patterns to emerge then. Oh, I think that was a comment on a previous stock. Sorry, guys, you guys
Okay.
are commenting so much that we are just trying to keep up. I love, love, love the back and forth.
Helaine, we have some questions in the Zoom I'll knock out real quick too. I see Thomas is
Go for it.
asking about our inputs on the Keltner channels that we're looking at just here on our charts. So the inputs here, just on stock charts, just the way they have them set up is 20, 2.0, and 10. So what that is, it's just the 20-day EMA, that's the middle Keltner channel band that you look at there. The 2 is just the multiplier, and then the 10 is the period of data that it's looking at. So it's looking at the past 10 days worth of data, uh, using 2.0 as the multiplier in the Keltner channel formula, and then 20-day EMA. So just to answer that for you, Thomas. And Linda was asking about your Broadcom option. I don't know if she's
Okay,
maybe
so
wanting to see if it
for
got filled or
For those of you that were not on earlier or that were and maybe just missed this, my trade pick today was for Avgo, symbol Broadcom, symbol AVGO, and my option pick, how I play it is a call option debit spread, the November 28th, so 11/28, and I said I would buy the 330 strike call and sell the 325 strike call. It's a 5 point spread. It's currently trading around 4 points. That means it has about a 25% profit potential, and it gives me downside protection in case the stock were to move against me. So that is how I would play AVGO right now.
were you able to get filled on that one, Helene? Do you know?
Honestly, I've not submitted my order yet, guys, because I have too many positions out right now. I don't have enough cash.
Totally fair. Sometimes you're fully invested and you just can, spot different ideas and talk about them. That's totally okay as well.
I think I'm gonna enter it later today. I'm gonna close out of a profitable position, and then use that money to go ahead and enter into it. I just a little
Makes
short on
sense.
cash in that.
Makes
Uh,
sense. Helene,
let-
I see somebody, it says, this comments from LOL, that's disappointing. Love the name. He's asking, are you guys only using technical analysis or are we doing any fundamental analysis? So, by and large, really all we're doing, we're technical analysts. That's what we've been trained as. That's what we are,
yeah,
that's what we specialize in.
that's what
Not to
we
say
do.
we won't look at the fundamentals of a company from every once in a while, but the main influence on our trade decisions is always going to be technical analysis.
Exactly. Next is this is from Greed 007. RANI.
RANI. I'm not familiar with
RANI.
that one either. Do
Okay,
you know that one,
so
Helene?
Ronnie
Ronnie
Therapeutics.
Therapeutics.
It is currently trading at 204. It's a very low cost stock. It had been in a long-term consolidation, it appears, and is now starting to break out. It kind of looks like a short squeeze to me, almost. But
This is a biotech. I wonder if they got offered for like some type of a buyout or merger or something, given that it's, only about a $100 million market cap company. I know there's a lot of acquisitions going on in the space right now, so maybe that's the explaining the spike, given that it was trading kind of sideways. So,
maybe, but
um,
still, from a technical standpoint, the crazy movement right now, no clear trend. Would want to see confirmation of a trend before I jump in. That means a series of higher highs and higher lows,
yep,
more consistent trading and more consistent pattern.
yep, totally agreed.
Okay, let's see.
We did have a couple tickers come in through the Zoom chat. I see Greg put ENPH down, phase energy.
ENPH.
So just looking at the last 6 months, it looks like this one's been on a pretty good downtrend. It has been kind of consolidating, building a base, it looks like, for the last really 2.5 months almost. So let me kind of zoom this chart out just to see more so what we're looking at here. Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
this was in a
so
pretty good downtrend.
yeah.
Um, Elaine,
I'm
what are your thoughts
looking
here?
at a 10-month chart. It was on a consistent, confirmed bear trend. And then in August, it appears that it bottomed out, and now it's in a consolidation pattern right now. I personally wouldn't be bullish or bearish on it because it's still range bound. I'd be watching this one to see if it's going to break out of the range or break down, break out. So like break out or break down. If it breaks out and up, then I would think that it might be going to trade higher from there. If it breaks
Totally.
down, I would be bearish. I think it'd trade lower from there.
Yeah, and this one actually looks like they're reporting earnings today, Helene. So you could see a
Okay.
breakout one way or the other today. So we'll have to see how that goes.
You could, you could. Let's see.
Let's see, ALGN. Um, so Align
ALGN.
Technologies. Obviously, this is like the Invisalign type stuff, I believe.
Yes.
Again, very, very
Ooh,
tough looking chart here. Big
wild
sell
looking
off,
there.
big drop really a couple months ago,
Yep.
and is kind of continued the downtrend ever since, just making a series of lower lows and lower highs. Again, this one reports earnings tomorrow. So, Greg, you're keeping an eye on the earnings calendar with your tickers here. But yeah, this one looks like it's in a very significant downtrend. It seems like on several occasions the stock has tried to build a base and recover and then just sold off even further. So, would need to see some, trading above some of these recent highs on the way down, showing a more of a recovery before I would be looking to step into that one.
I totally, totally agree. And in the comments here right now, I had a question. Is this pre-recorded? I didn't see that question you just read. We are live both on TikTok and on Zoom. So there are some questions that you don't see because they're on Zoom, guys. Or if
Yep.
you're on Zoom, there's some questions you don't see because they're on TikTok. Just so you know there.
Yep, yeah, we're kind of
Um,
simulcasting in two different places right now. I see
exactly.
Holland put out on Zoom OGN, so Organon. Wow, looks
OGN.
like this
Oh,
one. So
gosh.
yeah, this looks about as bearish as they get right here, Holland. With technically speaking, looks
Yeah.
like just a massive leg lower.
Yep.
That's
Fell through the
heading into
floor.
earnings too, so they haven't even reported earnings yet, and they just I'm not sure exactly. It must have been some type of news, but two consecutive 52-week lows there. Looks like the stock kind of blew up. It's massive volume spike yesterday, elevated volume today, just huge selling pressure on this one. So, it's very oversold speaking right now. It's obviously in a very long-term confirmed downtrend, but very oversold. So probably at current prices, I wouldn't be looking to put a bearish position on this one.
I
Uh,
wouldn't touch it.
yeah,
That's just
but
my opinion.
if it got like a little, if it stabilized and got back into the counter channels, it could be one I would look for a bearish position. But again, here's another thing too, Helene, at a stock price of 6.55,
Yeah.
I would be willing to bet, given the trend on this one, it probably has very significant short pressure.
Hmm.
So, just like you saw a massive, drop down in this one, you could see a big recovery, just because of a short squeeze in this type of stock too. So probably
Fair.
one I would stay away from for those factors.
Now, we had a question from Lucid Escape. How can we get the Zoom link? So, if you guys are live, we had mentioned that we're both live on TikTok and on Zoom. If you want to get our Zoom link, you can just message me, do a personal message on TikTok. I'd be happy to send you the Zoom link because if you are live with us on Zoom, you actually get to see the charts as we're analyzing them because we have the capabilities to do that. So, Blane, for every single one of these stocks that we've been looking at, Blane has been having the chart up and he's going over it and you could see it alongside of us. So I apologize that I can't do that on this because maybe I can, and I just don't know how to. I'm still fairly new to TikTok Live. But you just hear us talking about the charts. But if you get the Zoom link, then you can actually see the chart as we're talking about it. So you just send a personal message to me. Um, Next question was from Bert. He was asking about RKLB, and he said that he is a long time holder of
Oh,
RKLB.
congratulations, Bert. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
one.
right.
This obviously has been just a great performer this year. I mean, you can see it's up substantially year to date. Helene, this is one that we've actually traded in some of our trade
Yeah,
alert services, some of our premium services with our members. We've
exactly.
had several RKLB trades for them this year. I know they've been working out really well. I mean, as you can see, anything long this year has probably had a pretty good chance of doing quite well.
Yes.
Technically speaking, here, Helene.
Love it.
a lot to like. The
Love
MACD is a
it.
little, concerning, but
Yeah.
that's, just what I'm looking at in the main stock chart right there. Great long-term trend line buy there. The stock price is trading above both of our EMAs we're looking at here. It recently rallied up to several new all-time highs, pulled back to the middle Keltner channel, found some support there, starting to rally yet again. Yeah, this is a really interesting looking setup here for RKLB.
I really like the setup. I'm bullish on that setup. I would look to go long in that position. That's my personal opinion on that stock. And Bert said, I'm continuing stacking. Very nice. Yeah, as we said, congrats on that trade because that's a nice winner there.
Bert, you're buying lunch.
Exactly. KJ, Ripa, Kim. So what time do you guys go live daily? We don't yet have a daily time. You can look at my TikTok and I'll be posting what time I'm going to go live. If we get enough people interested and we get enough people on here, we probably will go live daily. But you
Oh
can
yeah.
just keep a look at the TikTok for that. Kai asked, okay, actually, sorry. I've seen this one a couple times now, but it keeps getting pushed. User 743, a bunch of other numbers, is asking about APLD, and he or she has asked a number of times now. So let's go ahead and
So let's do that one. I
APLD.
know we have a riot that came in from the Zoom room as well. So
Okay,
we'll do
perfect.
APLD. This
So
obviously is another
APLD,
one.
I'm a
Go ahead.
shareholder. Just wanted to say, and I'm very happy with this one.
Yeah, Helena, this was one of kind of your speculative kind of spec holdings for this
Uh-huh.
year. Obviously, they've been largely benefiting from the AI build out.
Yep.
I'm not super familiar with exactly what the company does, but just technically speaking, it looks like this thing is riding the elevator up right now. It's almost kind of going vertical, which
Oh yeah.
certainly can be merit some caution and pause when you see that on a chart. But just technically speaking, certainly very, very powerful uptrend in this one right here.
Okay, and to give some color to this APLD, they are an AI data center stock. So they have help in the build out of the data centers that are helping to fuel the AI boom that we're seeing right now. They're one of those major players in it. And here's the deal. I own one share. I wish I had bought more because I have 199% return on that position. Why didn't I buy more? I think I posted 10 TikTok videos about how bullish I was on APLD because that's truly how strongly I felt about this stock.
Oh man, Helene, do you know are they just constructing data centers? They own them themselves and lease out the compute capacity. Is that what they're doing?
APLD is a technology company which engages in the provision of development and operation of data centers which provide computing power.
Yep. So
So it
pretty
has
much, yeah.
a data center hosting business and HPC hosting business segments.
So okay, yep, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking that they were into. Just not one that I had looked much beyond the technical score. But yeah, obviously massive up leg today. It's up almost 6%, continuing that really strong uptrend of higher highs and higher lows. Looks like it's poised to go up and trade and likely challenge those recent all-time highs from just a couple weeks ago. So strong looking chart there. I know
Yeah.
Hector posted in the Zoom chat
And also,
about
just before we
Riot.
jump onto there, Jaden LZX said, I'm up $1.2 thousand on APLD. Awesome. That's
Nice, that's
sweet.
awesome. Way to go. Awesome, Jaden.
Um, and sorry, just one other one on that last stock before we jump. They said, would you recommend buying APLD now or hold till it dips a little bit? I am pretty bullish on the positioning personally because it's not currently overheated. It is getting towards that overheated position though. It is very close, according to the Keltner channels, to being overheated, but I wouldn't completely shy away at this price, although I do think that it could have a strong pullback because of the volatility upwards. So,
Yep.
sorry, Blaine, go ahead
Certainly has had a
and
big gain upwards too. So anytime you see something, it began the year trading around $6 or $7 a share. Now it's up to near 36, 37. Obviously, it's up several 100% at this point in time. So, as much as we'd like stocks to just go up forever, eventually you do get a bit of a sell off and pullback, which has ups and downsides to it. There's pros and cons, but
Mhm.
technically speaking, it does look like a pretty interesting setup on that one.
Okay. Now,
Helene, you want
next
to jump
up,
into
you said
Riot
what stock?
here?
Yes.
Okay, so from my understanding, this is a blockchain company, I believe. So I think they kind of operate
Okay.
in the crypto space, but Definitely an interesting setup here on this one too. It's kind of similar to
Definitely.
APLD. Obviously it's taken a huge leg higher in the last couple of months. Nice years of higher highs and higher lows. It's got a good trend line buy signal going right here. Um, so
The recent
uh,
movement, interesting. And I'm not totally bullish on it yet. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
pretty
lie.
volatile. It looks like it's near the session lows today.
Yeah.
Despite it did close at a new all-time high yesterday, it looks like.
Yeah.
Or at least it's a 52-week high. It could be an all-time high. I haven't looked back far enough on the chart, but um, yeah, it looks like it's near session lows today. So pretty volatile trading recently. It did have a big consistent move higher right here, but then we kind of got past the first week of October, and it's, as you said, Helene, it's been kind of all over the place. A lot of volatility. So has earnings coming up too in a couple days. So probably one that I would personally look to stay away from because
Yeah.
the trend seems
Same.
like it's kind of wobbly right now. Seeing that confirmed in the MACD chart down there too. It's obviously MACD lines below the trigger line there, and kind of
I
all over the
totally,
place.
totally agree. The volatility is just a little too much right now. The trend, not clear enough. I would want to see a breakout above that recent high before getting bullish on them.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, Blaine, what do you think? We have a couple more minutes?
Yeah. Let's do a couple more if there's
Okay.
anything else. But also too, Helene, I want to just throw a question out too, just the people watching both Zoom and on TikTok. I know you mentioned that, if we get enough following, get enough demand, we might
Yeah.
consider actually doing these every single day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just pose the question out there. People watching home on Zoom, people watching on TikTok, just go ahead. The question is, if would you like to see us do these every single day? Right now, we're
Yeah.
only doing the TOD lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but just kind of get a little feedback from the audience. Just go ahead and post a yes or no, or maybe, I'd be looking, really happy to have these sessions to be able to attend them live every single day. So just go ahead and post in the chat and kind of your feelings on that. We'd love to hear back from you.
Yeah, looks like we're getting a number of yeses in the Zoom room. Wow, a lot of yeses.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. Yeah,
Well,
Bert,
thank
yes,
you.
please. Kai, yes. User 906, yes. Always hungry, 1234, yes. 2 days a week is perfect from Cassie Girl. Okay, well, we'll have to say, well, okay, Lucid would be love it. Awesome.
It's a
Cassie said,
lot of yeses, so
thanks for
that's
all
great
your
to see. Well,
help.
thanks, guys.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. We love that. Great, guys. Okay, this one was interesting. Bert posted this one and also then Greed007. We'll get to yours. First one was waste management. He said it's another long time hold
Yes.
and ouch. This must
Whoa.
have been earnings,
What?
right?
Yeah,
This
had to.
had to
Yeah, they
been.
reported last night, so they must have had a pretty tough earnings report.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically speaking, again, there's really kind of no trend breaking
Yep.
out for this one.
Yep.
Looking long term, even short term, obviously a big blow up in the stock today. So probably would avoid it because there's no clearly defined trend of, kind of what this one's doing right now.
No, but as a long-term shareholder, I personally it would depend on my entry point, of course, because if I was buying and holding this one forever, then I would probably buy and hold it forever. But it just depends on each individual's personal trade management and how they would go about this, entry prices, and all of that. But I will
Totally,
say that
absolutely.
the business of trash is going nowhere.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
making
People
less
are
trash.
humans definitely like to make a lot of garbage, and they're probably going to always have that necessity and need for as long as we're all here. So I think they're in a good business. It looks like the stock price is under some pressure right now, but
Yeah,
certainly in a good business that they're
totally
in.
agree.
So yeah, it's definitely if you just zoom the chart out, it's definitely been one of those great long-term compounders. So
Totally.
a lot of noise in the chart over the past couple months, but you can just look over the past 20 years. It's certainly been a big winner. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just
Next
always
is
like to put things in perspective there.
Greed007 asked about JPM. Now,
Oh,
I will say
okay.
JPM in general is a stock that when the banks start to perform, we're looking at JPM because
Oh, yeah.
they are the performer. They are where the money is to be made, typically speaking. They just tend to outperform and be really consistent. But looking at the recent movement, Blaine, what do you think?
I'm actually pretty excited about JPM stock. They
What?
certainly the banks. Let me explain. So,
Okay.
Long-term speaking, we do have several longer-term trend line buys that are still intact right here. The stock just in the past couple of days popped back above both of those trend lines right there.
Uh-huh.
So certainly for much of the month of October, this stock has been under pretty significant pressure. You can see it's been in a pretty confirmed downtrend. But if you look and see where the stock found support, it's right along in here where there was a clear support level for the stock, right around 295. Can see it's where the
Interesting.
stock had previously consolidated before.
Yeah.
So it found some support there. It's starting to rally off of that now. So it's really important to me seeing that the stock didn't break down further and trade below that level. If it broke down past this 295, 290 level right here, I would have been staying far away. But it looks like that support level held very firmly. It hit that, traded very sharply off of it. So I still think the financials are an interesting space through the end of the year. Obviously, as we said, this Helaine is one of our favorites in the space right here,
Hmm.
JPM. So seeing it having this recovery right here, I might not be looking exactly right here right now, but what's setting up if we continue to see this recovery off of that support level, that's what has me kind of excited for this one right here.
Okay, that's totally fair. I respect that. It just from a technical standpoint for the last month, it's on a bearish decline. And as you said, would want to see more of a recovery, more of a confirmed bullish trend and reversal from here before I personally would jump in. But Greed 007 said, "What? You don't like Jamie?" No, I love Jamie. Very bullish on Jamie. But just that current movement, I would want to see just more confirmation of that bull trend. And we had another person ask, how do I join that Zoom? Go ahead and message me a personal message on TikTok and I'll send you the Zoom link. You get reminders because they're twice a week. And once you have that link, you are invited to all of the Zoom meetings so you can see us analyzing the charts live if you're on that Zoom. So go ahead and send me a personal message and I'll send you over that Zoom link. Bert said, talking about his waste management position, it's a tough move. The only reason why I'm holding it still is because I got in earlier and plus the dividends totally make sense there.
Yeah, it
Um,
makes sense.
totally makes sense. Let's see. Just one or two more. Walmart.
Oh, Walmart. So I know that this one's been under some pressure in the last couple days. Overall, it seemed like it was starting to get constructive, starting to break out. I think honestly, Helene, I think this one might be suffering somewhat from the government shutdown. I
Okay.
think unless there's progress, doesn't seem like there's been a lot of progress on getting that resolved. I
Yeah,
know in several days, some of the food assistance programs, SNAP, are going to be, a lot of those benefits in most states are going to be shutting off. So not to get political here, that's not what we're doing, but just talking about just stock market, just business perspective, certainly Walmart, they do have a significant portion of their clientele that is, lower middle income or lower income, benefiting from some government assistance programs like that. Obviously, a lot of the revenues come from the grocery business. So I think that's somewhat what's put the stock under pressure in the last couple of days is that if that continues to go on for too long, it could, disrupt some of their, revenue, some of their earnings, be an unanticipated thing, could be affecting, prior guidance they put out. So,
totally.
the stock looks like it's, certainly been under pressure like the last week, as that's become more of a reality. But
Yeah.
what do you see here more technically speaking, Helene?
From a technical standpoint, I don't love the trend over the past 2 weeks. It's been pulling back. Typically, I like to see a stock in a bullish trend bouncing off that middle counter channel that confirms the resumption of a bullish trend. Instead, it broke down through that middle channel. It's trading lower today. I would really need to see a new series of higher highs and higher lows before I were to get bullish on this position.
Yep, same
Um,
here. And of course, we're talking about just from an options trading perspective,
Technical
trying to identify
swing trader. Yeah.
what's that.
From a technical swing trading perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to talk, always remember the perspective we're looking at this from.
Yeah,
If our lens was from, longer term buy and hold type of perspective, then, certainly on some of these declines, some of these long time winners, could certainly have a totally different perspective than what we're putting on here today. But,
totally.
right now we're looking from a technical analysis perspective, looking for, shorter to medium term, swing trade type of trades, things like that. So for that perspective, totally agree, Helene. Would like to see a little bit more resumption of the uptrend. New higher highs, higher lows. Clean the technicals up just a little bit before we really consider that one.
Absolutely agree. I think maybe the last one, Blaine. What do you think? I think we
Yeah, I
probably
mean, I
have
think
to
that's a
jump
good one to
off
end
here
on. Yeah. Yeah, sure
soon.
thing. Yeah, no, I think that's a good one to end on. So we can go ahead and end the screen share here in the Zoom. I know we have a lot of folks, um, in the TikTok room as well. So I
Yep.
think we can go ahead and wrap things up.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, I just want to thank you all so much for being here live with us. We really absolutely love having these. We love getting to engage with you guys, love getting to check out your picks, love the whole thing. As I've said before, if you've been on with me live, this is what we do every day, except typically we're alone looking at charts behind a screen, which is not as fun as getting to engage with all of you and check out your picks. So I just want to thank you guys so much for joining us, for spending some time with us, for sharing your comments and your charts. We absolutely love to do this. I just want to thank you guys so, so much for that time and for being here.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Again, second everything you said there, Helene. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Both our longtime followers in the Zoom, some of our newer attendees here in the TikTok live as well. So really appreciate you all being here. And yeah, we might start doing these a little bit more often, Helene. Seemed like we got some good feedback there from the members. So we'll have to, talk
Yeah.
about it, look at our schedule, see how it all fit together. But yeah, really appreciate you being here. Really love the interaction. Love all the energy too. I mean, we're getting great comments both from Zoom, both from
Yes.
TikTok,
It's
a
so
lot of
fun.
ideas. Always love to get, see some of these different tickers that we're not always looking at. So really
Totally.
appreciate it. And for now, we'll be back live on Thursday. So certainly a lot to be looking forward to. Reminder, just big Fed meeting tomorrow. We have earnings from Microsoft, Google, Meta tomorrow. On Thursday, we'll be talking about it again. We have some more mega cap earnings on Thursday, so a lot left to go this week. A lot of catalysts that could be moving, causing a lot of price action swings. So we'll be all breaking it all down on Thursday when we're back here. But until then, have a great week, everybody. Really appreciate you being here, and take care. Happy trading.
Okay, see ya.
See you, everybody.